Morning. Yes, I am in my pajamas. Yes, I woke up not too long ago. Yes, I have my bonnet on. Yes, I'm filming this way. Yes, I'm so grateful to be able to speak to this camera this morning. Yes, I am so grateful to have internet to post it. Yes, I'm so grateful to have been made aware of my gift of gab and I'm so grateful to have become so much more intentional about how I use it. I'm grateful that you're here watching, and I'm grateful to have woken up this morning. So, good morning. I wanted to share this with you because, well, so the other day I was in prayer, and I was just thinking about all the ways that I was so grateful to God for all the things he had done for me. I'm like, Lord, like, man, you've been so good to me, even when nothing seemed like it was doing what it was supposed to do, even when I think everybody around me was questioning, like, is she okay? Which to a degree I wasn't. But Lord, hear me from that. Like, I was just like naming, just like, Lord, my God, like, you are so good. Like, you've brought me through this and this and this, and you taught me this and this and this. And like, I'm not even the same person that I was 8 months ago, God, because like this and this, like, even though it was hard and then sometimes good, but then it seemed like back to back to back, like things just kept happening, Lord. Like, you've still been so faithful to me, and you have quite literally walked with me through the valley of the shadow of death. You have walked me through the fire. You have refined me in ways that I didn't even know I needed refining, and you have removed things from me that I didn't even know I was carrying, and you have added things unto me that there was a point in time, a long point in time, I did not possess enough wisdom or maturity to be able to carry that. So I was just like, thank you. Thank you. I said, Lord, I don't even know how I'll ever be able to repay you. I said, there's not enough. How will I ever repay you? Like, how, even if I say thank you 10,000 times, I can't, first of all, I can't do that. But even if I could, I guess I could sit down and you get the point of what I'm saying. It's hyperbolic. Even if I were to say thank you 10,000 times, I still don't even feel like that would be enough. And I've expressed that to God multiple times. Like, I feel like even if I were to say thank you to you for the rest of my life, even if I were to do every single thing you asked me to do from here on out for the rest of my life, I still don't feel like it would be enough to pay you back for what you've done for me. There's no way I can pay you back. How do I pay you back? How do I pay you back? And in that moment, he impressed upon me, you don't. You don't pay me back. And I said, what? He said, you just love. You just love. And in that moment, it was like this understanding just consumed me. Just washed over me so fully. I'm not paying reparations for the rest of my life, to Jesus, because he's forgiven me. He doesn't ask that of me. He doesn't ask that of me. He doesn't hold anything over my head saying, I did this for you, so whatever you're doing, you better, like, I did this for you, you better do. He doesn't do that. It's not even just like, and we can even say that my payback to God is to love him and other people. Like, we could put it that way. But what stuck out to me is that he said to me, you don't pay me back. You don't. That's not the point. The point was never pay back at all. The point was that you would know how and be able to and consistently love. He said, you don't pay me back, Aubrey. You go about your life full of love instead. You go about your life spreading love instead. You go about your life with love at the forefront of your mind and your heart. And you walk everywhere with love in your hand, and you give it to each person that you know. You walk everywhere with love on your mouth, so that every word that comes out of your mouth is loving, is full of love, and it just blows love right at whoever is there. You know, you don't pay me back, girl. You love. You love when you've been betrayed. You love when you've been treated poorly. You love when you're angry. You love when it's unfair. You love when it hurts. You love when you're scared. You love when you're offended. You love when you can't, and you love when you can. You love when it doesn't make sense, when it doesn't add up. You love. And I think, what does that mean? You know, what does it mean to love? The act of love. How do we define love? Love is not just this romantic feeling that we feel, in the same way that love is not a feeling only. It is an action. Love is an action. Love has its own sort of identity that it must operate within in order to be love. What does First Corinthians say? Love is patient. Love is kind. Let's read it. I'm going to read it to y'all from the Amplified Version. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, starting at verse 4. Love endures with patience and serenity. Love is kind and thoughtful, and is not jealous or envious. Love does not brag and is not proud or arrogant. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not provoked nor overly sensitive and easily angered. It does not take into account a wrong endured. It does not rejoice at injustice, but rejoices with the truth when right and truth prevail. Love bears all things, regardless of what comes, believes all things, looking for the best in each one, hopes all things, remaining steadfast during difficult times, endures all things without weakening. Love never fails. It never fades nor ends. But as for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for the gift of special knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part, for our knowledge is fragmentary and incomplete. But that when that which is complete and perfect comes, that which is incomplete and partial will pass away. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I did away with childish things. For now, in this time of imperfection, we see in a mirror dimly, a blurred reflection, a riddle, an enigma. But then when the time of perfection comes, we will see reality face to face. Now I know in part, just in fragments, but then I will know fully, just as I have been fully known by God. And now there remain faith, abiding trust in God and his promises, hope, confident expectation of eternal salvation, love, unselfish love for others, growing out of God's love for me. These three, the choicest graces, but the greatest of these is love. You know, I can think back to so many even recent moments in my past where I did not operate out of love. And it's so crazy because I kind of thought that I was. Like I thought that a little bit of tough love never hurt nobody. I thought, well, if you made me mad, then I could probably say what I wanted to you. Um, and yet still love you, you know? Like I had like such a twisted view of love, and I really think that that is so evident in all of my past choices, and not even just like my personal choices as it came to how I ran my life, um how I was as a person. My misunderstanding of love in the past showed up in my friendships. It showed up in my personal relationships. It showed up with my family. Like, God having taken everything away from me having been willing to give it all anyway, even though it was hard, even though it sucked, even though there were many moments that I longed for it back, like at the end of the day, I still knew this is what God has asked me to do, and I'm going to do it because He's been faithful to me so far. He's been that much more faithful to me in these last 8 months that I've been out of Kentucky, in truly helping me, showing me what love is. And conversely, showing me what it is not. There's a huge piece of me that is ashamed because when I look back at how I treated people in the past and how I thought about them and how I held things against them, how I would get so angry with them whenever I felt that they had wronged me or hurt my feelings or something. Like, I just took things to like a whole other level. And realistically, it was because I had a very flawed and very, very, very twisted understanding of what love was, what it was meant to be, how to keep it going, and how to express it. And not only that, but like there were I carried so much baggage with me, and which is, ugh, man, it makes me so, it almost makes me mad that I had so much baggage I was carrying with me, because it was like that stuff wasn't even mine for real, like I didn't want to carry none of that. Because I was carrying so much baggage with me, and I was judging everyone else that I came into contact with off of what I was familiar with, the baggage that was in my carry-on. And it's like they just didn't, like they oh gosh. And it's very much so because of that. Like, I was carrying so much in my carry-on, in my regular everyday life. Like, I felt like I had so many stressors and I wasn't taking care of myself. Like, I was not fostering myself well mentally, physically, or emotionally. I was taking everything that I thought and that I felt at any given time and like either shoving it down or just letting it spill out everywhere. I was making a mess of everything because I guess it's because I didn't fully understand love. It's gotta be why. I didn't understand love. I didn't understand how to love myself. I didn't understand how much God loved me. I didn't understand how to love other people. I didn't understand that other people could really love me. Like, it, when I tell you, I feel like my mind was just like, you know. So because of all of that, I'm like so grateful that God had still gotten to know me up until that point in my life, that he could see my heart even when I couldn't, and even when no one else around me could, you know? I'm just so grateful that he snatched me up. He snatched me up. He snatched me up and said, "You're leaving here. You are leaving here. You are leaving this mess. None of this is for you. Get out of here. I don't want you here anymore. I want you somewhere else. Yes, you are leaving everything behind. Yes, you are leaving it all. Yes, none of that is for you anymore. None of that is who you are. How you are now, this is not who you are. I do not like seeing you this way. Get out of here and get away from these people and go get better. Go get help. Go find something different to do because this is not for you." Like, that was the most gracious thing he ever could have done for me. For real. Yes, he took everything. Yes, my life felt like it shattered and had fallen apart. Yes, I felt like I had ruined everything in my life. I felt like I had ruined every relationship. I felt like I was out of control. Yes. And yes, I was keeping it all just like bottled up. Again, either I'm shoving it and shoving it and shoving it into this big, like full, massive 80-pound suitcase, or I'm letting it spill and spew out onto people that I really did love and I really did care for. But I didn't know how to show that. I didn't know how to express that really. I didn't know how to keep that standard of love up high. I didn't know how to set a standard for love. I didn't know what the standard was for love, because when I look back, like, I just remember all the times in my life where it felt clear to me, like, this person that I thought I loved didn't love me back in the way that I wanted, or they hurt me, or this or that. And so I had just adopted like such a fragmented way of giving and experiencing love that when it came time to like any effort to do that, I just messed it all up. But like with business, I was good at that, you know, making money, I was good at that. Getting stuff done, I was good at that. Talking to people, I was good at that. Making people feel comfortable, somehow I was good at that. Understanding people, I was good at that mostly. But when it came down to love, man, I just was so far gone. And it wasn't that I didn't love other people at all. I loved them deeply. I just, I just didn't have a good standard for it, you know? I didn't have a good standard for receiving and giving it, giving and receiving it. I didn't have a good framework for that. All of the baggage that I carried and all of the fears and the insecurities that I have, they just like, you know, it just thwarted and it distorted what my view of love really should have been, or it just distorted my understanding of love. Primarily, I did not know how to receive love. I did not know what healthy love looked like. And I did not know how to express the love I had for people in a way that would actually make them feel loved and accepted and understood and safe. So I think because of that, I kept a lot of people at a very extreme distance. I kept basically everyone at a distance, honestly. There were very few people I let close because I knew, like, if I do, they're gonna get the after effect of me having pushed down or spilled out messily. And I did it every time. It's what happened. And when I let someone even remotely close, that's what I did. And I hated that. I hated myself for that. I hated myself for not knowing how to love, for being so messed up that I couldn't even figure out how to love somebody else. How can I do everything else in my life, but I can't do this? You know, the more I started to think about it, the more I started to realize, oh my gosh, I felt like I was just messed up for life. I felt like there was just no going, there's no going back for me. Like, I was past the point of return, just like so screwed up, so twisted, so messed up, man. Like, just tap out, truly, like, just leave, because you don't have when I was leaving, I remember telling myself, like, you know what? I'm going to miss everybody here so much. But they are so much better off without this version of me, whether they know it or not. I am not good for them. I need to leave. They are better off without me right now. And it was true. And so now as I'm reflecting, God, like, how can I pay you back? How can I pay you back for taking me away from people and places and things, number one, that I was not for, and number two, that were not for me? How can I pay you back for healing me and helping me learn so much more and understand so much more about what love really is, about what peace really is, about what patience really is, about what gratitude really is? How can I pay you back for pulling me away from stuff that I thought I loved? How can I pay you back for forcing me? Not forcing me, really, because he gave me the choice. I didn't have to leave, obviously. Like, I could have disobeyed his instruction. I could have, like, I had that option, but I didn't want to, because I knew anyway, like, I'm unhappy and I'm miserable and I'm making everyone else's life around me miserable to a degree that I really care about. So I have to leave out of here. Like, I can't do this. And I already know you've told me, like, so much of this either is or is not for me. So, like, I should just go anyway, But I'm like, how can I pay you back for putting me in the position to, like, reprioritize, allowing me to reprioritize, allowing me to sit back and, like, breathe for a moment and, like, recalibrate and reheal and refresh? Because I never got to rest. I never really got to rest when I was back home doing what I did. And it was just like, Lord, like, how can I ever pay you back? How can I ever pay you back? For how graciously you've treated me, even when I know, like, sure, so much of it seemed really confusing and very chaotic, and really took me through the ringer. I thought I wasn't gonna make it out. How can I pay you back for being so gracious to me? In ways that at the time didn't seem gracious, but were the most gracious things you could have done for me. How can I pay you back? And he said, Aubrey, you don't. You love instead. And so what kind of gift is that, man? Not only is he not requiring me to spend the rest of my life like paying him back, not only is he not requiring me to spend the rest of my life owing him something, he's given me a gift of saying, you don't have to pay me back, but you can just go love instead. Man, I knew my God was gracious because of how he's treated me, since I started to try to get to know him at 19. I knew he was gracious because of how he dealt with me then. I knew he was gracious because of how he approached me then. I knew he was gentle. I knew he was loving because even then I felt like he could see a girl that just didn't have it all figured out, didn't have really much of anything right, but he still loved me anyway. Like, I knew he was amazing because he's treated me like nobody else has ever treated me before. But for him to tell me that, him knowing that truly my greatest desire is to love, and it's not just to like love like being a romantic. My greatest desire is just to freaking love. Just to feel love for other people fully. Just to feel it healthily. I feel like for so long in my life, I just never knew what that was. There was so much that I was doing at the time that when I look back, I was not ready for. And somehow I still did some of it. But for God to have pulled me away and taught me even just this one thing. He's taught me multiple. But for him to even just sit me down and not just teach me about what love is, but show me. Show me. Knowing this, I feel like there's so much more that I can do now in so much of a better faith. So much more holy and powerful, and not power for power's sake. So let me use the word impactful. I can do so much in a much more meaningful way now. Man. To be taught, to be shown what love is and how it feels and how it acts. Is such a blessing. And to know now that that is my greatest requirement, you know? That in terms of things that I have to or need to satisfy, loving is the greatest one of them all. It feels like such a blessing. Especially now that I think I know how. How do I pay you back, God? How can I ever pay you back? You don't.